23 minutes after 8 a.m. You're listening to Mind, Soul, and Spirit on CKUT 90.3 FM. The music, the ministry of Andre Bird with the selection.
With the selection from the EP called The Leap.
Okay, now we've heard Andre do his singing thing. We're going to talk with the brother. Good morning, Andre.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm well. Welcome to Montreal. Welcome to Mind, Soul, and Spirit here on CKUT 90.3 FM. Now tell us, how was your stay? How was the experience?
It was phenomenal. The worship in Montreal is out of this world. We had expected it to be great, but not as great as it was.
Wow.
And so, you know, God really did some great for us, and we were happy to be here and excited to come back.
There was no question about it. You got a lot of love in the room last night.
Yes, sir.
I think you caught everybody by surprise, Andre.
I caught myself by surprise, sir.
I mean, your ministry was, for the most part, unknown here in the Montreal area. Right. Unless you're a YouTube fan, people didn't know who Andre Bird was.
Right.
But how long have you been doing your thing?
We've been doing it officially since 2009. I started out with the group, and since then we've kind of progressed into what it is right now, and the sound has been shifting, so we're excited about what's getting ready to happen.
And now, are you a Brooklyn native?
Actually was born Brooklyn via Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay.
Yes,
You're a CT boy. You know, it's interesting that you say that the sound is shifting. I find that young artists such as yourself, you know, you'll start off in church,
right,
and then you try to expand your sound and try to find your voice. Do you find that after 3 years of ministry that you've been able to find your voice, your sound, or do you think that your sound is still trying to find solid ground?
Yeah, I think it's still trying to find solid ground. I think my tastes in music are far too eclectic to kind of stay in one area. But I do like what God has given me is this more kind of rock influenced kind of situation, which is really cool. So again, I'm really excited to kind of like experiment with some other stuff.
When you talk about rock influences, there's no question about it, your music is out the box. And I wanted to know, who are some of the inspirational mentors in terms of music for you?
Wow. We got to start with Fred Hammond. I'm a die-hard Fred Hammond fan. Anthony Evans.
Yes.
We got to go to the Clark Sisters, Dynasty, Jay Moss, all of these kinds of individuals. Even some people from the secular arena, Brandy. People like this really inspire a lot of what I do. Yeah,
really?
Yes, sir.
So tell me about this relationship, this hookup with your label. Tell us about the ministry, the vision for the label and for your ministry.
Sure. We met, David and I. David Quinones is the CEO of Holy Ground Music Group, which is my management group, and we met back in 2009 when we had decided to break out and kind of introduce ourselves to the gospel community. And since then, I called him to kind of get my brother Mike Willis on to the event, and we spoke for like an hour and ended up developing a relationship which has flourished over the years. And so, you know, really excited about what's getting ready to happen. We're trying to make David a record label. Yes, sir.
You know, I just opened up the EP, and I noticed a name that's familiar to me because we go to church together in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Terrence Farrell.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how that relationship came about, because that guy is so unassuming, but he is crazy talented. Ridiculously talented.
Yes, and has an ear for music, which made it so easy for us to record. Good friends with David, and we met when we were doing some stuff I sang with a young man by the name of James Powell. James Powell and Remnant in New York. And so when we were doing some work for him, we kind of developed a relationship and then started to do our own stuff. So excited to work with him. He's a cool dude.
He really is. So then my question kind of goes back to the kind of music that you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you find that this kind of urban gospel is well received in churches, or do you find that you now have to carve out a niche for yourself in the concert setting or in the lounge setting?
I think there is more of an openness to what is to come next. I think people are not so much necessarily caught up in the sound. They just want to know that there's substance to the message. And so that's what we're trying to give people. It's not what you're hearing, it's actually the message behind it. What are we actually saying to you? Are you getting something from what we're saying? And so we're trying to make sure that the message is not compromised in any way, but you know, reintroducing some sounds into gospel that may not have been heard before, reclaiming rather, what music is, and that God created music, so we're excited.
And so what is the message?
The message is that God is the bottom line. He is, if you don't have a relationship with him, get one. It is the most fulfilling thing that you could ever do. Just like the song says, majestic king, be lifted higher and higher. There's fulfillment in serving God. And so I think that's one of the reasons why it makes it so easy for people of my generation to kind of delve out with other sounds, because people who are not necessarily churched or grew up in church will more so gravitate to the sound, but then you kind of hook them with the message. It's like, oh, all right, God is cool, all right, and you do cool music. So, yeah.
Okay, we're going to play another track featuring Andre Bird, track 3. Introduce the song.
This song is called All of Me. It's one of my favorite songs to sing, just a praise and worship song. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let it minister to you.
On CKUT 90.3 FM.
Yeah. This next song simply says, I love you with all my heart.